Yesterday, I did the three most important home games for the Cardinals in the 2022 season. Today, we're going on the road. The three most important road games for the Cardinals during the 2022 season. Here we go.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Clancy. I'm your host of Locked On Cardinals. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen each and every day, free and available on all platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. If you'd like, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications. Hit a like on this video. Leave a review where you'd like. Just try to make this the best Arizona Cardinals podcast on the planet. I think we're already there. I did yesterday's show centralized around the three most important home games for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022. The third most important, Kansas City, week 1. The second most important, New England Patriots, week 14, coming out of the bye. And then the most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022, Christmas night, Tom Brady comes to town with the rest of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The three most important road games for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022. This has a little bit more layer to it. So yesterday what I did, the elixir involved was, Kansas City was obviously going to be one of them, week 1. It's kind of like the litmus test to rip the Band-Aid off. What's this offense and most importantly defense going to look like in 2022, especially against a high-powered offense where the Cardinals are going to be playing many of them in 2022. The second game, mental toughness. Coming out of the bye, hopefully the Cardinals go into their bye week with a winning record. And if so, can they get a W at home against a team they're probably better than? Unfortunately, that team they're probably better than has the best coach to ever potentially coach the game of football in Bill Belichick. Mental toughness. The last time the Cardinals played the Patriots, they went on the road in an ugly game. Isaiah Simmons had a 15-yard penalty, late hit against Cam Newton, which wasn't a late hit, but it was called as such. And the Cardinals lost the game on a Nick Folk long 50-yard field goal, I believe. Mental toughness coming out of the bye in one of the most important years in the history of the franchise. And then Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. Christmas night. Quick look back to last year. Carson Wentz-led Indianapolis Colts team came in to State Farm Stadium on Christmas night with their pretty much entire defense injured. And they beat the Cardinals in a pretty embarrassing fashion. The Cardinals offense didn't look good. The defense didn't look good. They didn't look inspired. It was just as the snowball was rolling downhill on the second half of last season, that was just another cog in that main storyline of how the Cardinals unceremoniously were removed from the NFL playoffs a few weeks later. The three most important road games for 2022, it's a little different. So you could say, sure, the most important road game is week 2 going to Vegas, where it's like, oh, this is another litmus test. It's a road litmus test for this team where, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, Darren Waller, blah, blah, blah. Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, two of the more, that duo is going to be wreaking havoc this season. But no, the third most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals is week 4 in Carolina. And for those that have been watching the Cardinals over the last couple of years, the Carolina Panthers, they're just a team the Cardinals can't beat. And it's weird. It doesn't make any sense. But ever since Christian McCaffrey was drafted by the Panthers, it's just been this comedy of errors by the Cardinals. Now, last year, Kyler Murray was out. They got absolutely abused at home by the Panthers. The year before, I think it was the year before, or 2 years ago, when they went on the road, Budda Baker was injured, lost that game to a Teddy Bridgewater-led Carolina Panthers team. This year, after going at home against Kansas City, on the road against Vegas, and at home against the Rams, the Cardinals very well could start 1-2. They could start 2-1. They could start 3-0. The NFL is weird, okay? We have no idea what's going to happen. But say they start 1-2, an absolute must-win early on in the season is on the road against a bad team in Carolina, a team they also couldn't necessarily beat since Cliff Kingsbury's been head coach. So it's this weird early play time on the road, East Coast, after this huge stretch, week 1 through 3 without DeAndre Hopkins. Now, say the Cardinals start 2-1, okay? Or the Cardinals start 3-0. All right, those are two options. They're going to start 0-3, 1-2, 2-1, or 3-0. That's just math, unless they tie all 4 games. Say they start 2-1 or 3-0, okay? One of the hottest teams to come out of the gate in the NFL. And that strength of schedule, I believe, has got to be the toughest strength of schedule for the first 3 weeks. They go to Carolina and lose. It's like a microcosm of the entire 2021 season. So going into Carolina, week 4 is the third most important game for the Arizona Cardinals on the road in 2022. I'm not overstating that because it's a road game. If it were a home game, this wouldn't have been part of yesterday's podcast. If you haven't checked that out, YouTube and free and available wherever you get your podcast. The third most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 is on the road, week 4, against the Carolina Panthers, a team they definitely need to beat. And even if they start 2-1 or 1-2, they need to beat the Carolina Panthers to either right the ship or continue down the river of starting 2-1 or 3-0 against 3 of the best teams the NFL has to offer in 2022. What's the second most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022? It's a good one, and we're going to talk about it next. First, it's almost the start of the NFL season. We're less than a month away, man. I mean, we're like 4 weeks away, 3.5 weeks away. I love this time of year. And if you're into sports betting or fantasy, you need a competitive edge to win. That's why I highly recommend the Elias Game Plan app. It's the ultimate sports betting and fantasy companion for the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. Elias Game Plan is the only sports app from the most trusted name in sports stats, Elias Sports Bureau, the official statisticians of U.S. pro sports leagues, including the NFL. Their app lets you access team and player stats, head-to-head comparisons, and Elias insights from the Elias Sports Bureau research team. Okay, take my advice. Download the Elias Game Plan app today with new features available all the time. It takes your game to the next level, which anybody could desperately need. NFL season is right around the corner, so don't wait. Find Elias Game Plan in the App Store or Play Store today. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen each and every day. Free and available on all platforms. I'm Alex Clancy. I'm your host. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Turn the notifications on so you get a notification anytime a new video's up. I'm going to be doing videos all throughout the year. Sure, you'll be getting 5 a week. There'll be random lives. There'll be random vignettes. There'll be random things. I'm going to be doing a halftime show every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday whenever the Cardinals play. Saturday if it's Christmas. Every halftime. Join me. Bring your questions. Bring your thoughts. Bring your complaints. Bring your compliments. Bring your everything. And we're going to grow this baby to be bigger and bigger and bigger every week. The 3 most important road games for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022. Number 3, the Carolina Panthers, week 4. It's important because it's a must-win early on. Well, every game is a must-win, sure. But after the murderer's row of Kansas City at home, Vegas on the road, and Rams at home, the Cardinals need a W. It happens to be on the road, and it happens to be against a team that the Cardinals have trouble beating. Okay? The second most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 is week 10 on the road at the Rams. And between their tough schedule in the first 3 weeks, ending with the Rams, the Cardinals have a somewhat favorable schedule. The most favorable part of their schedule, so it's potentially grading on a curve, at Carolina, Eagles at home, at Seattle, Saints at home, at Vikings, Seattle at home. Okay? So that's the 6-game stretch that I've talked about, which is the most honeypot of the schedule. It's not, but that's the easiest stretch that the Cardinals have, and where they need to group together some wins, especially if they don't front load their wins like they did in 2021. And this is a tougher early schedule for 2020 than 2021 for the Cardinals in the upcoming season. Going on the road to play the Rams in Week 10 is the second most important game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 on the road. They got this win on the road last year. It was a very convincing win. I think they put up a 33 burger and kept the Rams to, I think they scored 10 or 13 points, and there was a garbage touchdown at the end. The Cardinals dominated that game. It was earlier on in the season. It was during their 7-0 stretch, and it was something that put the Cardinals on the map. Since then, the trajectory of these two organizations have gone in opposite directions. The Los Angeles Rams are the reigning NFL Super Bowl champion. Matt Stafford's dealing with a weird elbow injury. I think this is a bigger deal than people are talking about it. I mean, they're equating it to a pitcher injury, and when pitchers have elbow injuries, it's not always the greatest thing. They've added Allen Robinson. They've got Cooper Kupp. Cam Akers is healthy. Darrell Henderson is going to be healthy. The offensive line is taking a step back because the big guy, Andrew Whitworth, up front has retired. They've added Bobby Wagner. They've had an offseason like the Cardinals should have had. It was in desperation mode, and not that they had just won the Super Bowl. They did things with the cap that I didn't think were possible. Still got Jalen Ramsey, still have Aaron Donald. This is going to be a huge test for the Arizona Cardinals on the road in Week 10 in Los Angeles. And it's not just because of on the field. This is a can you erase history game for the Cardinals. Sure, it's not going to match up to where if the Cardinals would have beat the Rams in the wild card round in the playoffs. It's not going to beat that, okay? People have already forgotten about their early 2021 win on the road against the Rams because so many important things have happened since then. This is going to be a game for mental toughness for the Cardinals. Just like the second most important home game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 that I talked about yesterday, the New England Patriots, is a mental toughness game. This is a mental toughness litmus test for the Arizona Cardinals going on the road to the Rams in Week 10. Because they're still 3 weeks away from their bye week at this point. So there's going to be nagging injuries. DeAndre Hopkins will be back in full swing. What's Hollywood Brown going to look like? What's his defense going to look like? Is the defense going to be able to withstand the rigors of the NFL season through 9 weeks and be able to keep themselves from any sort of major injury? What's James Conner going to look like? Is Trey McBride going to emerge? Is Rondell Moore going to emerge? How's the offensive line holding up? We're going to find out everything against one of the best front sevens in the NFL with the Rams. They've already added Bobby Wagner, the best corner in the game, and maybe the best 1-2 punch and wide receiver, top 5 1-2 punch and wide receiver in Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. So Week 10 for the Arizona Cardinals in Los Angeles is the second most important game for the Arizona Cardinals on the road in 2022. And that leaves one more game. There's a lot to choose from. What's the most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022? I will talk about it next. Locked On Cardinals. First, BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the #1 source online for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They've got you covered, man. Go to the website, BetOnline today, or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. The third most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022. Week 4 in Carolina. The second most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in Week 22 in 2022. Week 10 on the road in Los Angeles, SoFi Stadium, against the reigning Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. And the most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 is against a foe that the Cardinals matched up pretty well against when he was the quarterback in the NFC West. And now he's the quarterback of an AFC East team. That is Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos in Week 15. I told you there were wrinkles to this list. Denver Broncos aren't the best team in football. The Rams, like this list is a little clunky when you just look at, wait, why is it the Broncos? Well, let me tell you. It's after the bye week. It's Week 15. It's winning time. You're looking up at the rest of the schedule with Tom Brady coming to town on a short week on Christmas night, 6 days from this game. You're mile high. It's going to be cold in December. And the season is going to be on the line here. It's after the bye week. Again, it's Week 15. Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, Patrick Surtain Jr. Like, they've got guys. And this is going to be a test. Oh, Justin Simmons. Why did I say Jeffrey Simmons? Yikes. Justin Simmons. Like, the cornerbacks in Denver are legit. They've got a roster. Okay? They've got an absolute roster. And this is the first of 3 of the last 4 games on the road for the Cardinals to finish the season. They go Denver on the road, Bucks at home, Falcons on the road, then 49ers on the road in Week 18. This is the most important road game for the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 because everything's against them in this game. The weather's probably going to be gross. Russell Wilson knows this team. He's got maybe an upgraded offense, better offensive line for sure, better defense than what he's dealt with the last couple of years, a better offensive mind and a better offensive scheme. It's a West Coast offense, not like, a 1938 offense that Pete Carroll ran when he ran the ball the majority of the time. Like, this is going into the belly of the beast for the Arizona Cardinals. And if they can get a W and then go play Tampa Bay in Week 16 at home on Christmas night on a short week and get a W, this could start to shift the trajectory of how people look at this organization, strengthening of the foundation for this organization, and pivot what this organization could look like for the future. I'm not glorifying what could happen here. The Cardinals in 2022, we are going to find out what they are. Week 1 through Week 18, we are going to find out what they are. Was Hollywood Brown a bad decision? Was extending Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim a bad decision? Was not signing more defensive players a bad decision? Was everything will be realized this season. And you're going to find out mile high, Week 15 in Denver against Russell Wilson and this upgraded team that he's a part of now, what this team is made of. And I'm here for it. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. I'll talk to you tomorrow.